the very first thing we need to do to be able to function in the best way that we could, as we have been created to be, is that we will learn how to function the way we are created to function. And there is no other person to learn from. The best example of who to learn from is Christ. And if you read Colossians chapter 1, it says that Jesus is the example, is the model of man, is the ultimate model of what man is supposed to be. And is the first among the, okay, let's say it. Colossians chapter 1, verse 15. It says, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. Who, that is Jesus, who is the image of the invincible God, the firstborn of every creation. You say, he's the firstborn. So when you look at Jesus, don't just look at him as like this religious figure, like this religious person. No, Jesus is God and all that. But when he was on the earth, one of his main missions is to communicate to us that he was like us. He came in the flesh like us, to be like us. But because we don't know how to function, how to really live the ideal life in the flesh, we don't know how to function with the combination of God, his spirit, and our flesh, combination of God and man in one person. How do I function? How do we function? Nobody ever functioned like that before. But Jesus was the very first one to function that way. So that's why he's called the firstborn among the brethren. So Jesus is the firstborn among the brethren for a purpose. He was the first, he's the firstborn, it's called the firstborn of the brethren, so that we might model our life and our lifestyle after him. So let's find out, what did Jesus live for? What was Jesus living for? Definitely Jesus lived for the transformation of the world. Jesus lived to save the world. He gave his life to save the world. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So Jesus gave his life to save the world. What is that telling me? That is telling me that, okay, the only thing worth living for is when I give my life to help the world, to help humanity. So Jesus' life was not about him. So that means my life must not be about me. So it means life itself is not supposed to be egocentric. Life itself is not supposed to be something that is just about me and my needs and my desires. Life is about service. Life is about ministry. Life is about stewardship. Life is living like the master has shown me how to live. Life is the ability to be able to learn from the ideal example. There is no better example of how to live life than Jesus' life. So Jesus' life was the ideal life. And why was it the ideal life? Why was it given to us? Why was it made available to me? So that I might look into his life and say, okay, what did he spend his life on? He spent his life trying to bring deliverance. He spent his life trying to help. But some people think that means I must become a pastor before I could function like Jesus. No. When Jesus was in that party, when he turned water to wine, the point is not that it's not about wine and it's not about water. It's not even about what he did. But what I'm trying to say is, at that function, it was at a ceremony. It was at a party. It was in a gathering, in a social gathering. So it was not in a church that day. It was not like in a religious environment. It was not functioning as a priest with a cassock, or something like that. No, he was just a normal person, that was living his life, going to party, befriending the Pharisees and some taxpayers, tax collectors, befriending some people that people will call sinners. He was living the regular life. So you and I, we don't need to, separate ourselves and make ourselves different and really look pious and think that, oh, for us to be like, to live like Jesus, then we must become pastors, we must have a title. Jesus really never had a title. People are calling him different things. Some people call him rabbi, some people call him teacher, some people call him Lord, some people call him Savior, some people call him Messiah, But he was not particular about that. He was doing what he needed to do. When he was young, he was working. He was working as a carpenter. His disciples were working as fishermen, and so he was living a regular life in the workplace or in the marketplace. But then he knew who he was. He was living the God life on a personal level. He was living the God life by fellowshipping with God, by revealing God in every aspect of life and in everything he did. He was always revealing God. He was always manifesting God in everything he did. So even when he was with his parents and in his family, when he was with his friends, he knew his mission. His mission is to reveal God. Now, this passage here is telling us Jesus was the image of the invisible God. This passage is confirming the fact that Jesus lived the right life. Jesus lived his life the way it's supposed to be lived. Jesus fulfilled his destiny from day one. He was living as the image of God. Of what God? The invisible God. The God that people have not been able to see so far. He must make it invisible. The God that people think is oblivious somewhere, or is not visible, is not present, is God that is not existent. He came and made that God manifested in the physical body, in physical material life. He made God visible. So how am I supposed to live in this world? How are we supposed to function in this world? The very best tool that we have to use to make God visible, the first thing we're supposed to do, you heard about that yesterday, is to make God visible. But the very first tool we have to make God visible is our life. Okay, we can make God visible by producing things. We can make God visible by producing products. We can make God visible by converting our gifts into products, by converting the Spirit of God, that we experience into products, by converting our knowledge into products, by converting our revelations into products, by converting our wisdom, understanding into products. Yes, we can. That is what we do. And when we act, when we work, when we are diligent, we can convert everything into products, using that product to glorify God. When people see the works of our hands, when they see our good works, they will glorify our God in heaven. So we must do something to make it visible. We must make our everything that we are experiencing with God, we must convert into something visible. But before you make your own computer, before you make your own product, before you make something outside of yourself, the very first instrument and the biggest tool you have to glorify God and to function with on the earth is your body. It's you. It's your personality. So you as a person, you have to be a walking manifestation of God. You have to be a walking image of God. And that's why it says where the letter written, where the written letter that's supposed to be read by all men, where the unwritten or whatever, where the letter that is supposed to be read by all men. So my life is supposed to be read. People are supposed to be reading my actions. People are supposed to be reading my character. People are supposed to be reading my behavior. People are supposed to be reading my reactions. People are supposed to be reading my attitude. People are supposed to be reading me. So the way I dress, I'm supposed to communicate something. And that communication has to do with communicating His glory, communicating His beauty, communicating His gift, communicating His image in me. So Jesus, when He was living, the way He will act, the way He will speak, what He will do was all communicating God. So He was all manifesting God in everything He did. So much that people could see Him and say, He was the image of the invisible God. Look at Him. Look at Him going. That's the lamp of God. That's the image of God right there. That's how God looks. That's how God behaves. That's how God, that is the image of God right there. So what this place is talking about is that Jesus made Himself. He empowered Himself. He added so much value into Himself. The value of God. He developed it in himself. He cultivated God in himself. And we can do the same thing. That is what we're supposed to do. The biggest asset we have to communicate God, to reveal God, to manifest God on a daily basis is ourselves. Is our body, our spirit, and our soul. So we have those three components. What makes me who I am? What's the composition of man? The composition of man is his body, and that's the first thing people see. People see your body, so you take care of your body. That is one of the reasons we take care of our body. So we take care of our body so that people will be able to, we make ourselves attractive. We make ourselves interesting, and we let our body language say something that will always point to God at the end of the day. Let people be attracted to us so that we might be able to speak and point them to God. Let people see, our conduct, our behavior, and be able to, to pay attention to God. But the body is the least effective instrument that is in a person for him to use to communicate God, because the body is the weakest. The body could be any kind of body. Bodies are different. The body could be small, it could be big, it could be fat, it could be lean, it could be beautiful, it might not be beautiful for some people. So body is the weakest. So you don't pay all your attention using your body to communicate God. But you could still use your body, but it's not the biggest instrument that you have to communicate God. The biggest instrument you have to function with on the earth is your body is just to interact with the physical world. So and for people to be able to identify you, but you still want to put it in order. You still want to polish it. You still want to make it, upgrade it in a way that will make that will make people to ask questions, or that will make people to compliment. But when they compliment you or ask questions about you, you refer it right back to God. You refer it right back to the Master. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Now we need to spread this word, and we need to do it together. For that to happen, we need your help. Just 5 little steps that you could help us to spread the word. Number one thing we need you to do is to like the videos. Please go like this video right now. Number 2, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Number 3, we need you to press and click on that notification bell. You see the bell? Go press on it. And number 4, we need you to go comment. Write your comment, good or bad. Just write what you feel. Number 5, share on every platform. Share on Instagram, share on Facebook. Just share and spread the word. Thank you so much.